They say some nights change everything. Mine started with a whiskey and ended with a right hook. It was a Friday. One of those miserable ones where the rain messes with your socks and even your umbrella hates you. I'd just clocked out of a mind-numbing shift at Orion Tech, where innovation goes to die and middle management thrives like mold. I walked into Jimmy's bar, the kind of place where neon lights buzz louder than the patrons and everyone smells vaguely of regret. I wasn't there to make friends, just wanted a drink, maybe 3, and a slice of silence. But no, life, that moody playwright, had other plans. He walked in like he owned the place, tall, smug, and with the kind of haircut that screamed, "I pay." Too much for my self-esteem. He brushed past me at the bar, knocking into my stool without so much as a glance. I gave him a pass. Everyone gets one. That's the rule. But then he ordered, loudly and obnoxiously, like he was auditioning for Most. "Punchable voice in America, make it neat. Top shelf. I don't drink the cheap crap." I sipped my whiskey. Tried to tune him out, but then he laughed. At me. I hadn't said a word. Hadn't looked at him. Still, he turned, stared, and said it. Looks like someone's had a rough day. Or life. Now I'm not a violent man. I pay my taxes. I read the warning labels. I once apologized to a squirrel I almost ran over, but something about that guy, his smug face, his cheap cologne disguised as luxury, the way he sneered like he'd never heard the word humility, made me see red. I stood up, told him to back off. He grinned like a man who thought he was untouchable. He wasn't. I threw the punch, it connected. Beautifully, I might add. The bar erupted. Jimmy shouted. Glass broke somewhere behind me. The guy hit the floor, stunned, clutching his jaw like it owed him money. Then the bouncer grabbed me. Fast forward through a lot of yelling, a brief scuffle with the sidewalk, and a walk of shame back to my apartment where the heater hadn't. Worked since 2003, I thought that was the end of it. A bad night. A regrettable decision. A story for the boys over beer someday. But Monday had other plans. I walked into Orion Tech, coffee in hand, apology email half composed in my head for my lateness. And there he was. Smug face, wearing a suit, standing in front of the conference room, shaking hands with my boss. "This is Nathan," my boss said. "He's the new director, effective immediately." Nathan smiled at me, that same arrogant curl of the lips. "Oh," he said, "I believe we've met." I stood frozen, coffee burning in my hand, reality slapping me like I owed it rent. By lunch, I was called into HR. By 2, I was unemployed. And by 5, I knew exactly what I had to do. Because here's the thing about men like Nathan. They climb fast, but they fall faster. And I was about to give him one hell of a push. Unemployment hits different when you know the guy who took your job deserves a concussion and a career setback. I sat in my freezing apartment, staring at the blank wall where a TV used to be before I pawned it during my last temporary setback. Nathan. I said his name like a curse word, spit it like it tasted sour. Nathan, the walking cologne ad. Nathan, the guy who got me fired because I bruised his ego and maybe his jaw. But I wasn't just angry, I was focused. The kind of focus that keeps you awake for nights with nothing but ramen and a vendetta. I started digging. LinkedIn was my first stop. Nathan Blake, Director of Product Strategy at Orion Tech. Oversharing enthusiast. Proud graduate of a college. That sounded made up. I scrolled through his posts, selfies with motivational quotes, pictures of expensive dinners with captions like earned, not given. I almost threw my laptop, then I struck gold. A tweet. From 3 years ago. Can't believe I got that contract signed with AlphaZen. Didn't even have a license yet. Oops. Casual. Smug. Like he thought the internet was a diary and the SEC didn't have Wi-Fi. I screenshotted it, printed it, highlighted it like a high school overachiever. Then I called in a favor. Remember Kevin? Probably not, but I did. We interned together back in the day. He stayed corporate. I went rogue. Kevin owed me. I once took the fall for a coffee spill that ruined our boss's suede briefcase. Long story. Anyway, Kevin now worked in legal. Need dirt, I said. He sighed. On who? Nathan Blake, Orion Tech. He paused. That guy's your boss? Was. He laughed. Oh boy. 2 days later, he sent me an email. No subject. Just attachments, expense reports, sloppy ones, first-class flights disguised as market research, dinners in Vegas labeled as client development. The man had the subtlety of a fireworks show in a library. Next stop. Amanda. PR manager at Orion, also my ex. Still hates me slightly less than she hates men like Nathan. Amanda, I said, how do you feel about anonymous tips? She narrowed her eyes. If it brings down the right person? Delighted. I handed her the folder. She flipped through. It like it was Christmas morning and she'd just unwrapped karma. That's when the fun really began. By Friday, the tip was out. Anonymous, of course. The blogosphere lit up. Orion Tech Director under investigation. My personal favorite headline. From hot shot to hot mess. Nathan Blake's lavish lies. I wasn't done. I made a burner email, sent every screenshot, every receipt, every tweet to AlphaZen, the company he'd bragged about lying to. Then I waited. For once, waiting felt good. Like watching a pot boil and knowing you're the one who turned on the heat. And then, one morning, it happened. I was walking past Orion's glass tower just to see the place one more time. Closure or whatever. That's when I saw him. Nathan, outside. No suit, no smile. Just standing there, talking to two very serious-looking men in very serious-looking jackets. One held a folder, the other held a recorder. I didn't stop. Didn't wave. Just walked by with the slowest, smuggest grin of my life. Game on, I thought, and this was only the second quarter. 2 weeks later, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Normally, I let unknown numbers rot in voicemail hell, but curiosity picked up before I could stop myself. Is this Daniel Reed? I paused. Depends. Who's asking? This is Linda Monroe, Internal Audit Team, Orion Tech. Well. I heard you might have information regarding Mr. Nathan Blake. I leaned back in my chair, which creaked like an old man, with secrets. Oh, I might. But I'm more of an in-person kind of guy. Silence. Then, we'd like to meet. Fast forward to the next morning. We sat across from each other in a coffee shop too quiet for anyone not talking business or breaking up. I handed her a flash drive with all the files I had left. Names, numbers, timelines. Linda barely blinked. You understand if this goes public, it could damage Orion's reputation. I sipped my burnt coffee. Orion fired me for a bar fight. They didn't care much about reputation then. She nodded like she agreed but legally couldn't say so. Then she said the words I'd been dying to hear. We're terminating his contract, effective immediately, and just like that, the smug king lost his crown. But I wasn't finished. I wasn't doing this for justice. I was doing it for poetry. So I reached out to Jimmy. Remember the bar owner? Witness to the infamous punch? Turns out Nathan had tried to sue the bar after the fight, claiming emotional distress and soft lighting. Jimmy remembered everything, especially the part where Nathan provoked me first. He'd even saved the security footage just in case. I asked for a copy. He gave me 2. One went to Linda at Orion for HR closure. The other? Well, that one I uploaded to YouTube, titled it Corporate. Douchebag starts fight, immediately regrets it. Blurred faces, no names, just enough to go viral. Which it did. 3 million views in 5 days. Comments ranged from, "I'd punch him too," to, "That's the most satisfying thing I've seen since bread cutting videos," and Nathan disappeared. Deleted all his social media. Word got around that Alpha Zen backed out of their pending partnership with him. Something about ethics and legal exposure. But the real cherry on the sundae? I got a call from Amanda PR. Queen, my ex. Remember her? Orion's looking to bring on a new consultant, she said, voice full of restrained glee. Someone who knows how to clean up messes and avoid making them. I laughed. You're offering me a job? She paused. I'm offering you options. Turns out revenge pays. Sometimes literally. I took the gig. Not because I love corporate, I don't. But because nothing beats walking through those glass doors, nodding at the front desk, and knowing the last guy who sat in my chair is currently Googling how to remove punch video from internet. So yeah, I got fired, I got humiliated, but then I got focused.